So this session is all about SQL optimization techniques. And in last 10 to 15 minutes, we'll talk about like how to apply effectively. So there are many of the people who are applying in different companies and are not getting job. So there are some other techniques as well that are available on LinkedIn that you can do to get the updates of the people who are urgently hiring for a role so that you can connect with them and you can apply for that role. But as you all know, even if you are like completely skilled, then also many of you are not getting the opportunity at the right point of time. And there are many people who are getting opportunities from their resume, but they are not prepared enough to crack that opportunity. So in both of the scenarios, I think like if you are skilled enough to crack an opportunity, then you need to apply, because if you will apply and you will crack it, then you will feel good. But if you are a person who is in search of job and got an opportunity and not able to clear it, at that point of time, you are losing a good amount of thing that you are not losing when you are not applying. So let's talk about SQL optimization first. So how many of you know about primary key? How many of you know about primary key? What is primary key? You can tell
A
the
key which
please
a
try
key
to
which identify
please try to answer in the chat box because I am recording this session. So when you have any specific question, I will give you a time that point of time you can ask. So people are giving unique in nature, not duplicate, unique plus not null, not duplicate, unique plus not null. Okay. Athav, do you know when you create a primary key, what happens in the backend? Anybody who has told you that when you create a primary key, what happens in the backend? Like, is there any mechanism that happens in the backend when you are creating a primary key?
Some cluster index will be created automatically.
Nice, correct. So first of all, tell me what is index. So if I talk to you, not in the technical terms, let's consider a book. Let's consider a book. So now, if there is a book of 1000 pages and it's an English book, and now you want to read the chapter of Alexander. So at that point of time, how index will help you? Any one of you can answer it. Like by opening your mic, any one of you can answer it. How index will help you at that point of time?
It will direct us to the page of what we are looking into.
Okay. But for example, Usha, if there are no index, if there is no index in the book, then how you will find the chapter of Alexander?
Search.
then we will check the whole book.
Yeah.
You have to search the whole book. So if you are searching the whole book, then you are searching 1000 pages, which is not negotiable. Now, if you have an index, then you are going on the first page. You're going on the first page, which is index page, and you are getting like from this chapter, this topic is Alexander, and you are directly searching that page. So at that point of time, you are searching how many pages? If you have an index, if you want to get the Alexander chapter, now how many pages you are searching? It can be a single page. Directly you got to that page, but you must have an idea that this will be at this point of page because this book has 1000 pages. So I can go, if I open the book from here, I will get the chapter. So at this point of time, when you have index, you are scanning less pages. Is it correct? Is it correct? You are scanning less pages. So now let's talk about SQL. So now when you are working for suppose you are working for an e-commerce company. And that e-commerce company is Amazon. And now in Amazon, there is a data engineer who has created a kind of flow in which all the data, all the data, all transactions, or you can say sales that are happening, their information is stored in a table. Now this table has, suppose in Amazon, you know that every day millions of transaction happens. And if you are taking a data for 10, 15 days or 20 days, so for example, if a data engineer has created a table 1, which is sales table. Now every day, all the information regarding sales will be stored in this table. So if this table has 1 year of records, there will be billions of records. Now a time comes, like, you know that every time when you go on any website, they ask you your registered email address. And I think the email address is unique for everyone because they verify it. So now let's understand email address as a primary key. Email address as a primary key. Now what happens is whenever you create something, a primary key, by default, an index is created in the backend. By default, an index is created in the backend, and that index is known as clustered index. So there are two types of indexes, clustered and non-clustered index. So when an index is created in the backend, that index is known as clustered index. And now clustered index is only made on the primary key column. Now what this index do is, this index basically sorts the value available in the primary key column. So I'm not talking about the exact structure, how these indexes are sorted and how these values are like in the like in the schema, how these values appear. I'm not talking about that. I'm just giving you an idea. So this clustered index sorts the value that are available in the primary key column. Now, for example, you are on Amazon website. You are on Amazon website. And suppose you have done like thousands of orders. Suppose you have done thousands of orders and you want to get the information of your order where you have ordered a iPhone. Now, you know that in Amazon orders table, there will be billions of orders. Now, if I want to get the information of my iPhone order, what I will do? I will pass my order ID. I will directly click on it, but basically what happens in the backend, so I will directly click on my iPhone. But in the backend, the data is coming basically from the tables. And in that table, order ID is a primary key in the orders table. So if you are looking for your iPhone information, it will not fetch all the billion rows to get the information about your iPhone. Because suppose your order ID is 1234. Let's take an example. Your order ID is 1234. And there are 1 billion order IDs. As you are fetching your data, you have put a condition where order ID is equal to 1234 and email is equal to like any email. Once you will put this condition, now there are 1 billion order IDs in the orders table, but it will not scan all the billion ones. It will directly go and it will check 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, how it will get 1, 2, 3, 4 is all the information in the order ID column is sorted in ascending order or descending order based on the criteria. So now I'm in 1 billion records, I am going to find out 1234 order ID. So all the order IDs which are in the primary key clustered way, they will get sorted from 1 to 1 billion. Now, when you will scan the rows, it will start from 1 and it will go to 1, 2, 3, 4 only. It will not check further rows after 1, 2, 3, 4, which means it saves the time and will give you the result faster. So indexes in SQL are used for faster retrieval of records. Now, I'm again saying this sorting that is done in the backend is done on a different other mechanisms. But if you want to understand like how it is done, I have given you the solution here. Now, let's take an example. You are now you are searching some other thing in the order table. Now I'm searching some other stuff in my orders table. At this time, the stuff that I'm searching from my orders table does not contains any primary key, because suppose you don't have information about order ID, you don't have information about email address. You only have the name of the person, and name is Durgesh Yadav. And now you know that if there are millions and billions of transactions happening in Amazon, can they make name a primary key? Is it a good way to create name column as a primary key? Or is it possible? Tell me. Is it
No,
possible?
sir, the name may be same, sir.
So name can be same. So they cannot create name column as a primary key. And you have a problem that you can only search the record with the help of name because you only have the information about name available to you. Now, at that point of time, if we want to faster retrieve the record, we have to make a non-clustered index. Non-clustered index. Now, non-clustered index also behaves same like clustered index, but it is a user-defined index that you create on a column to find or to get values faster. So if I create a non-clustered index on my name column by telling the index that sorted in ascending order or descending order, then we can get the records faster. So that's how non-clustered indexes are made. But there is a complete syntax to create a non-clustered index that you can get online anywhere. So this clustered and non-clustered indexes and basically indexing is majorly used for performance optimization. I have given you this much idea that if you will go and see any video about it, you will understand that video in seconds. So this is a part of performance optimization, which is known as indexing. Is this clear to all of you? Is this part clear to all of you? Okay.
Yes.
Now let's understand like other things. So let's now the basic things that you must know. So suppose you have a table. And I will share this Excel file with you as well. Suppose you have a table customers. And in all the examples, I'm taking the example for, you can say I'm taking the example for what? Taking the example for Amazon. So now we have a customers table, let's say. So there are about all the information associated with the customers, like all the information associated with the customers. And suppose there are around 59 columns. Suppose there are 59 columns in the table. Now, this table has suppose 59 columns. And there is a table orders, which again has lot of records. And now there are 63 columns, let's say. Because when you go in the real world tables, there are 100 columns as well, 150 columns as well in a single table. So now this is the scenario right now, 63 columns and 59 columns. Now there is a single customer ID and customer item. Customer ID and customer item are two keys by which you can join these two tables. So there are two keys, customer ID and customer item, by which you can join these two tables. Now you got some requirement. You got a requirement in which they are looking for customer details like name, address, email ID, comma, order amount, comma, order date. Suppose someone is looking this much data. Suppose people are looking only this much data. Now, tell me how you will write a query to make sure that this query is optimized enough. How many of you think I will use this join operation? Customers, inner join, orders on, suppose customers take at C dot customer ID is equal to O dot customer ID and C dot customer item is equal to O dot customer item. How many of you think this is a best way to do this? I know like all of you or 90% of you will do the same thing. But then also I'm giving you option to tell me, is this a good option to do this? Is it a better option? Tell me yes or no. What do you think? If you will do a join operation like this, you are accounting all the columns from the customer table and all the columns from the orders table. But do you really require all the columns from both the table? Does your output requires all the columns from the like all the table, like all the columns from the table? Does your output requires this thing? Tell me.
No.
No. So what I will do is I will, instead of, because when you will do this thing, then you are using all the columns because your join operation is performing this like this. So what you can do, you can use a subquery approach here. So first will be your customer subquery. Now keep one thing in mind, like when you will create a customer subquery, you will write all the columns that you require, like select name, comma, address, comma, email, comma, joining key also. So it is not required in the output, but I will take it in the subquery because I have to join it. So I will take customer ID, comma. Now the order information that we are looking on the basis of total order amount. There is not item amount. We are looking total order amount, which is order amount here. So what you will do, I will take customer item as well. I will take customer item as well. And now I will write from my customers table. Now, every time when you are working on data sets in your company or in real life environment, every time there is something known as partition key. So if you work in real life, there is a partition key concept. And that partition key concept is something like, you can say, what we can say is, this partition concept is some wise like data frames only, which is like for a particular set of data, like for a particular. So every time when you are using these kind of tables, partition key is a date column, and that date column is in a way like, suppose we have a information for January to December in 2023. Now, all these date partitions will have some certain set of information like a weekly information. So suppose there are weekly partitions for all the year details. Now, if you are looking for a certain partition, if I am searching for the date 7 July 2023, then it will go directly into the July partition. It will not go into the January, February, March, April one. So it will be faster. So we'll get faster results. So partition key concept is used for getting you the faster results. So when you are working in the real time, there will be partition keys. Because without partitions, you cannot create this much big table and you cannot fetch records because it will take hours of time. So you just put 2 to 3 conditions like dates from which to which you want these records for. And that's it. This is your first subquery. Now you will use a join operation and then you will make a order subquery. To create the order subquery, same thing we will do. All the columns that we require to select customer ID will take because we have to join it. So customer ID, comma, customer item, comma, order amount, comma, order date. From orders table. And again, you will drop a date that you're looking for, where order date is greater than equal to some XX date. Okay. So now you have two things with you. Now you will write a above query about select. Now, again, a thing I want to explain you is, instead of using select star. So if I write select star here, I will get all the information. But instead of using select star, write the column names there. Don't use select star. So now what I will do, I will write select, I want name, comma, email, comma, address, comma, order date, comma, order amount. From this subquery, and I will give it a reference. This subquery, I will give it a reference as O. And this subquery, I will give it a reference as C. And now I will write my join condition on O dot, same condition that I have told you. Same this condition you will write. And that is done. If you need some aggregations, if you need something, you can do it as per your question. But yeah, this is the approach. So everybody is clear? Is everybody clear? Okay.
Durgesh, excuse me.
Yeah, please say.
The syntax in the first, before join itself, you have mentioned the partition key. Is it like a command? Otherwise, you are
No,
mentioning
no, no, no. So
filtering.
I will tell you what it is.
Yeah,
So
okay.
when a data engineer person is trying to create a pipeline to fetch records from somewhere to the tables. So at that point of time, these records are in a very big size, because these are not 1, 2 records. They're very big size records. And now you know that in a single table, records from 2019, let's say, are getting loaded till 2024 also. Now you can understand there will be billions of records. And now for us, like data analysts like us, we have to fetch these records because we have to do the analysis. So they cannot fetch the records directly into the table. They have to create some sort of partitions that help us to fetch the records faster. So you can say, like, suppose you have a bucket. In that bucket, suppose you have 10 ingredients, and all those 10 ingredients are messed up. Then it will take lot amount of time to get all the to get a single ingredient completely. It will take lot amount of time, because you will search it, you will take it out, then you will get it. But for example, if there are 10 kind of partitions which are made in the tub or in the bucket, and in all those 10 partitions there is certain specific data is there. Now if you want to look for a single ingredient, you will just go to that partition, you will take out all the value, all the data that is there. So that will be a faster process. So that is something known as partition. And partition is basically done on the date values. Because multiple times when you are searching or when you are doing the analysis, you are using dates, like this to this date data we want. Is this clear?
इसका सिंटेक्स यही है, पार्टीशन डैश डैश डेट कॉलम.
No. This I have just written. This is not the syntax. I have just, sorry for, like, let me remove it.
That's what I am also asking. Is it the same? That's why. Just
No.
filtering on the
Sir?
question is
Yeah,
yeah,
filtering on the date value. That's
Sir?
it.
yeah. That is what
Because they
I
will tell you
Sir?
in table description, just let me complete, then you can ask. So in the table description, they will tell you that this is the primary column. And if you are not able to find, if you are not able to understand what is the primary key column, then there is a syntax known as describe. When you will write describe and you will write the table name, it will give you all the information about the tables, about the columns, and about the meaning of those columns if the data engineering person has given the description, like the meaning of those columns. You can use describe. Now ask your question.
सर सर
हाँ ब्रो, ask.
ये प्रश्न की जो आपने बात की, ये मतलब लिमिट की तरह ही है ये?
नहीं, लिमिट अलग चीज है. लिमिट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग. I will talk about limit also. So why limit is used? So limit and top class is also a part of performance optimization, or you can say query optimization. So I will tell you limit and top. So you know that top is used in our SQL server and limit is used in our MySQL workbench. So now suppose you are a data analyst. Suppose you are a data analyst who is looking for a table, looking to understand a table. You're a data analyst who is looking to understand a table. Suppose there is a table customers. And you know that the table's name is customer. You directly written this query. Select a star from customers. Once you have written select a star from customers without a limit, then it will run slow, because you are not assigning any limit or anything like how much records you want. Now, if you write select star from customers, because you are understanding the table and you are writing limit 100. So basically, there is a API. There is a API which is known as paginated API. And this paginated concept is also used in clustered and non-clustered index. This paginated is basically the data is broken into pages, like just like cannot explain you because I don't have a diagram right now. But the paginated API is basically, so when you write limit or when you write top, the commands directly goes to the paginated API, and that API reduces the load on the execution of the query. And that's why when you are in search of understanding a table or to go through a table, then people suggest you to use a limit clause. Don't directly write select star from customers, because understand, you are a data analyst. There are, suppose, 200 people same like you, who are at the same time, who are doing concurrent transactions, like running the queries, and system is single. So now, for example, if your query is taking a lot amount of time and someone else query is also taking a lot amount of time, then other people will suffer. So that's why when you use limit or top, at that point of time, your query is fetching faster and load on the API will be less, so that concurrent transactions will be fine. So if you are a person who want to search or who want to understand a table, don't directly write select star from customers or then select star from table. Use limit or top clause. Now, all of you have heard about this in operator. How many of you know about in operator or in? Tell me. How many of you know about in? In SQL. So everybody knows that in is basically used instead of or. When you write something like where name in Durgesh, comma, Abhishek, comma, any X name. You use or something like this. But in operation is a costly operation. In operation is basically a costly operation and it takes a lot amount of time. So now instead of in operation, there is something known as exists. Instead of in operation, there is something known as exists. And exist runs faster as compared to your in operator. So what exist basically do is, so whenever you are using exist, it returns the value in two form only, either true or false. But if you use in operator, it runs for the entire data in the subquery, because this is subquery only, na? So when you use in operator, it runs for the entire data in the subquery to check each and every record. But if you use exist, it gives you true or false value. So as soon as it finds the first value, which is true, it will give you the information. It will not look for all the values. So suppose there are 100 rows here and you are searching for Durgesh, Abhishek. Now, suppose there are more 100 records, like there are 98 records remaining. So if I will use in operator, the complete thing will be checked for all the 100 rows. But if I'll use exist, as soon as it will see Durgesh, it will represent, like first value of Durgesh, it will present true. And second value of Abhishek, it will present true and directly give you the result. So if you don't want to go deep inside it, just understand, instead of using in, you can use exist operator. But exist operator is little different to use. So many of you don't know about exist operator. So I will suggest you today go to ChatGPT and understand what is exist operator or what is exist. Take this as a homework and understand what is exist, how it works, how it works, And what is the syntax to write this? What is the syntax to write it? With examples, with example queries. Use this prompt in your chat GPT. And you will get to know everything about exist operator. Now, how many of you think, like, just understand? So many of the times you have seen this kind of query. Select count star from table. How many times you have seen this kind of query? There can be where conditions as well, but you must have seen this count star many of the times. How many of you have seen this? So whenever you are using count star, or for example, I am writing select count of order ID from table. Which one is better?
The second option, the second syntax give us like only the uh, it neglects the null values.
That is correct. Count star will give you, count star will count null as well. And count of column name will never count null. But suppose you don't, if you suppose your table has no null values. If your table has no null values, then both of these operations will perform like same data they will give. Then which one to use?
Second.
Second, correct. Why we need to use second? Because if you will use first, then the range in which you are counting will be more broader. So I will suggest you, if you are counting the number of rows or counting the number of values, don't use count star blindly. If you think that you have a requirement in which you want to count the null values also. So suppose there is a table in which null values are also there, and you want to count the records, all the records from that table, then I will suggest you use count star, because if you will not use count star, if you will use count column name, then you will miss the null records. But if you know that you don't have to look at the null records, then I will suggest you to use count column name instead of using count star. Now, how many of you have used like operator? How many of you have used like operator in their query? There are multiple people who have used like operator. So if you are using like operator like this, like percentile ABC, if you are using your like operator like this, then it will run slow. But if you will use a leading wildcard, suppose like this, like ABC percentile, then it will run fast. So instead of using lagging wildcard, you can use leading wildcard based on the query. So you will say that, Durgesh, if I want to search this, why I will use this? So you can make your query, or you can make your search operation in such a way that if you can use leading one, then you can, if you can get the information using leading one, then try to use the leading one instead of lagging one. So this is one of the optimization technique that you must know.
Uh, Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Can you like tell me why it is behaving like that? Like percentage in front and back. What does it means
Okay.
and why?
So do you know about like operator?
Yeah, I have heard about it. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, if I have written percentile ABC, how many of you know, like suppose there is a name column, and suppose on the name column, I am writing a query where name like percentile ABC. What will be the output? What kind of names we will get if we are writing where name likes percentile ABC,
Starting with ABC.
starting with ABC. So the person who has asked the question, if you are writing percentile ABC,
No,
starting
it's
percentile,
starting with ABC or ending with ABC, I guess.
okay,
If percentage in the start of it, then it is sounding, it will search then like
correct,
anything and that ends with
correct,
ABC.
correct. So I will tell you again. So you're little wrong, Osha. So basically, what happens is,
Yes, yes.
if you want to search something first, then you have to write that thing first, and then you use the percentile.
Yes, yes.
So this is if we are writing ABC percentile, like ABC percentile, then the names that starts with ABC as the initial three letters will come in the result. And if we are using ABC, sorry, percentile ABC, then names that ends with ABC, like its last three letters will be ABC, those results will come. So that is the difference between percentile ABC and ABC percentile. Is it clear to you?
Yes. Yes, it is clear.
Now let's talk about data types. So whenever you are creating the tables, if you want your query to be optimized, use specific data types. I told you, you must know about this example char and varchar. You must know about what is the difference between char and varchar. So that is a perfect example to make you understand why to use specific data types. So whenever you are writing a query, don't write or don't create a table blindly. Just give me a minute. I'm getting a call. Okay, so now if you are creating a table, don't use, many of you just write varchar every time when you are seeing the char value or when you are seeing some alphabetical value. Many of you directly blindly write int, even if you are taking values from 1 to 100, you write int. And there are many of the people who just try to write the query instead of thinking why they are writing it. So if you want to take, if suppose there is a column in which only you want 1 to 100 value, whether you will use int or small int, tell me.
Small int.
But what you people actually do is you would use int. Is it correct? Actually, you do use int only now. So that is also a optimization technique. So whenever you are writing or creating a table, at that point of time, like use specific data types that are good for you. Now the last part that people have asked me previously also, what, like, now I will explain what is partitioning in table. This is like one of the important optimization techniques. So just understand, suppose there is a large table. So how partitioning is helping is, it will break that large table into chunks of, it will break that large table into chunks of smaller and manageable versions. So just understand, like you have a very big table, and now if you will directly go to that big table, you will take lot amount of time to execute or fetch any number of rows. So what is done basically is that partitioning breaks that table into chunks of more manageable and smaller versions. So now if you want, your table is basically partitioned, then you can fetch the data faster. But now how the partitions are made? So there is a syntax. So suppose you have created a table and you have written the complete create table syntax. Now suppose there is a column order date. And now I want to partition my data. So I will write directly, the query will start like partition by range, the syntax, partition by range. And inside this, suppose I want to do a yearly partition. So I will write year of my order date, year of my order date. So basically I have partitioned on my order date. Now I will try to select my partition. So I will use a bracket. I will write partition. So I will just give a name as P2023, any name that I want to give. And I will write values less than. So basically this is all syntax. And less than, inside this, I will write less than 2024. So the P2023 partition will have only values which are not in 2024. So this partition will only work for 2023 or below 2023 year values. But this is just a syntax. You can make n number of partitions for easily managing your tables and to get data faster. So that's all about SQL optimization. There are other things also. Don't you try to use a lot of inner join. Instead of using inner join, you can use a left join and you can write a where condition so that it works same. There are multiple other things, but the things that I have told you are more than enough. And now if the question is asked from you, like how to optimize your SQL query, you can tell these things and I can guarantee that you will crack the interview if that question was an important question. So that's all about SQL optimization. Is everybody clear till now? Nice. Now let's jump into the last thing which was how to basically search faster for the jobs. So this is my brother's account. Let me tell you what to do here. Just give me a minute. So how many of you liked this? Like you got to know something new. Okay. So now let's go to LinkedIn. Lot of accounts opened here. Okay. Now, if I want to search for the jobs that are currently available on LinkedIn. So what I will do is I will write the title. Then suppose experienced job. And suppose I'm looking for like immediate hiring. Now what you have to go with after writing designation, experience if you want and these things, now you have to go on this posts option. And then you have to use the sort by as latest. So these are the companies which are hiring for a data analyst role, and these are the people here. See, many people have not seen their post actually. So if you can directly connect with them and ping them, then they can help you to exactly get a job instead of using like direct apply option and all. So now this is the example of experience. Now let's talk about fresher. I will change it to fresher and I will write here hiring. Let's search now. Same thing, latest. See, 3 minutes, before 3 minutes, someone is hiring for a fresher. 57 minutes, 1 hour. And every post, there will be a data analyst job available. So search it like a way, search it in a way like this, like a SQL query only. Suppose this is your where filter and you don't have any columns available. But if you will write data analyst is your designation, experience. Now, if I try to add more things and suppose what we can add, notice period 15 days. I'm checking basically. See, is it a good way to search for the jobs? Yes, you can add specific skill set also. I will use a and I will write SQL. See, but the point is, if you'll add more things to it, then it will show you past results. But the point is, you will get the contacts of the people, because if you'll directly, if I only write data analyst, if I only write data analyst and hiring, I don't make it more specific. I just write data analyst and hiring. Let's search it. We'll go to posts. We'll click on short. We'll click on latest. See, 5 minutes back, 19 minutes back, 26 minutes back, 59 minutes back, 59 minutes back. You can directly reach out to these people if you have a premium. I will suggest you, if you don't have a premium of LinkedIn, contact to me directly and I will help you with the premium, but just leave premium for right now. So yeah, this is the better approach to search for the jobs. And these people who are posting it are actually hiring. So yeah, I can help you to get the premium in 1500 rupees for 6 months. So those who are looking for it, and you can also get it from many other people as well. They are giving it in a lesser price also. So you can check on the other groups as well. But yeah, if you want it from me, I can give it to you in that price. So yeah, that's all from my side. Hope you like the session. Thanks.